Why is it so hard to actually say what I feel?
Just keep it together.
Don't be too much.
Somewhere along the way, you learned to hold it in, to soften your truth, to shape your voice, to be easier to love. But your body knows, your voice knows, and there's a place inside you where nothing is forced, where everything real gets to exist. This is that place. Welcome to G-Spot. My name is Graciela Serena, and you are listening to G-Spot. Thank you for being here. Today, we're going to talk about the infamous avoidant attachment. Some people are afraid of being abandoned. Others are afraid of being known. Let's take that one in. This could be you, or this could be someone that you love, you know. And I just want to start off by saying that avoidant attachment is not bad. It isn't about not caring. Often it's caring deeply and being afraid of dependence, vulnerability, engulfment, intimacy, and emotional exposure. So, yes, what I'm saying is that sometimes maybe he does love you and he's scared. And this isn't he, she, they, you know. And this isn't like to say that this is all of them, right? Like sometimes, you know, if they're like not seeming interested, like they're not interested, move on. Like love yourself enough to not be chasing after someone who isn't worshiping you and loving you and giving you what you need. So, disclaimer on that, because I don't want this episode to be about, you know, oh, okay, then they're just scared and like the avoidant, like I can just like make them love me and they really care. Like, we're not playing that, right? Like, we're looking at ourselves and maybe how this affects us when other people are in this realm. And this isn't to go and chase after an avoidant person and think that it's okay because they just feel unsafe. And there's a lot at play in the human psyche and the heart and the body. And so we're just going to go into this a little bit so we can have more of an understanding about it. Yeah? Okay, let's do it. Avoidant attachment is often a protection mechanism that we use in order to not feel pain. So if you're anything like me, or if this resonates, there's sometimes it can look like self-reliance. It can look like difficulty depending on others, discomfort with a vulnerability, and emotional distance. And I said that like if you're anything like me, I feel like I've worked with these. I've definitely worked with these. I have had the fearful avoidant. I've been very, very anxious, and I've been very, very avoidant, and I've been the whole dance. And sometimes the avoidance is because I know it's not right for me, and other times it's because of way deeper things, you know? So many people think that avoidants don't care, that they're incapable of love, that they don't want love, that they're incapable of intimacy. And really, this is just their protection. Somewhere along the way, they felt like love wasn't safe and that they had to protect themselves, and that intimacy is unsafe because they're going to get hurt, right? And this can also look like if they're, you know, if we're talking about childhood and how the avoidant starts forming, some childhood avoidance can look like helicopter parents, feeling a lack of freedom or self-expression growing up, having to fit a mold. And yeah, this can look like through the parents, and then it can also be through relationships, right? Like if we're in a caging relationship, if we feel like we have to show up a certain way in a relationship, and then we end up molding into something. And when we leave that relationship where it is left behind, we are like, okay, well, I'm never going to do that again. And an avoidant attachment starts forming, right? To the extreme. If we were extremely codependent in relationship at some point, and it felt like we couldn't say our truth, we couldn't say what we needed, and we, get out of that relationship, sometimes we can just repeat that pattern over and over again, or we can go to the whole entire other field where it's like, I can't lose myself. I won't lose myself. And that's a huge thing for avoidance. They do not want to lose themselves. They do not want to be engulfed. They need their independence, their sovereignty, their autonomy. And yeah, like I said, that can come from parents, but it can also come from relationships that have engulfed someone to the point of like, they were like, I'm done with this. I don't want this. And then we go on to the other, life is such a spectrum. There's so many ways that we can be anxious with this relationship, then avoidant with the next, or learn from this relationship and go to the other field. And that's what happens a lot, right? Even with like boundaries and starting to know how to speak your truth, sometimes that it can happen where we go all the way to the other side where we boundary everything, and we're actually not that nice about it either. And it's all like a learning. It's all a learning, right? To find that balance of what's my truth and how do I say it in a way that is kind, compassionate, and will get across my point without going completely right field of boundaries and saying no to everything. And avoidance is a mechanism. It's something that we use. It's like, I talk about this all the time. Like there's so many things in our body and our mind and in the way that we are that are protecting us, and so many things that we've formed, and they're never bad. It's never bad. It's just about working with it. So let's talk about what avoidant can look like. In physical avoidance, it can look like staying busy, working constantly, needing excessive space. Yeah, anyone feel any of those where you just keep yourself busy through work and you just need so much space, like so much space. And there's a difference, right? Like it's good to be sovereign and have your own space. But I think that, there's a difference between, I need to like come back to me and really tap in, and like, oh my God, I need my space. Like, what am I gonna, I'm gonna explode. I'm too close to this person. Yeah. Physical avoidance also, this is an interesting one, and I kind of think I want to do a podcast around this. And it's not something that I like know super well about, but I do practice it, and I have been practicing it, and that's avoidance with money, right? Like there's a whole thing behind, there's anxious and avoidant attachment in all aspects of life, not just relationships, and money is a big one. Like, and you're like, wait, what do you mean? Like, I want money, right? That's probably what you're saying. But there's so much more behind that. And sometimes deep down, we can be really avoidant of money because of responsibility, because of what it means to us, because of the stories that we have molded. So maybe I will do an episode around that because it's a little different. And it's something that I practice and actually have been I've been unlearning a lot and really looking at my stories and patternings with money, and it's been really, really cool. If you do want that episode, comment down below and maybe we'll do one. So another form of avoidance is emotional avoidance. So this can look like changing the subject, intellectual feelings. So like not really feeling them, like really like kind of actually just like overthinking the feelings rather than embodying the feelings and really knowing what the feeling is, right? Just like over analyzing. Joking instead of feeling. Yeah, which I'm a big fan of the cosmic joke, y'all. Like, I love finding the joke in all of the things because I think it's healthy and I think joy is something that I think we can all access more of. But sometimes, like, your body wants you to feel the thing, you know, rather than joke about it. And I don't know, I've definitely known people to do this. I've been the person that does this where it's just like, you know, like I'll laugh about my pain a lot. And I will laugh about my like the things I've been through. And there's a part of me that just like there is a cosmic joke to it. But sometimes every now and then when I do joke about it, it's something that I think that I'm actually just wanting to feel rather than create a joke about. Shutting down or avoiding deep conversations. Like if you are like surface level, don't want to have the deep conversations or shut down at any signs of them, that may be a sign that there's some avoidance there, or maybe on the other side of someone that you care about. And another one is feeling like other people are way too needy because they are emotional or they have needs and you can't handle it, right? So we've talked about physical, emotional. Now we're just going to talk a little bit about relationship avoidance. Relationship avoidance can look like finding reasons to leave. Yeah? You ever have those moments? Or have you ever like been on the other side of that? I have. I definitely have. Both. Finding reasons to leave. Yeah. Big one. So then focusing on flaws. Y'all, it was horrible for me. I once broke up with somebody because of the way they ran. I know. It's not good. And like honestly, I'm not gonna regret anything, but like yeah, telling y'all right now it's a little vulnerable to let you know that I've done that. But like I've been super avoidant and looked at all the flaws and actually led my relationship with that of just like, ooh, that's a flaw. I can't be doing that. You know, super sweet guy, really honestly beautiful person. And I was young. So, feeling trapped when things get serious. Anyone feel resonant with that one? I've definitely had my fair share of that. Questioning and second guessing the relationship repeatedly over and over again when you decide that you're in it, but then you're still not really, it's like 1 foot in, 1 foot out. And I really liked this analogy that my partner told me, who got told by an elder at a men's retreat that he was at. But it's like avoidance, the 1 foot in, 1 foot out, is like keeping a foot on the dock and another foot in the boat. Like you can do that, but you're not going to go anywhere with that person. You're not going to have the actual journey if you're not full in. And what is the point of really not like of doing the dance and being in a relationship and not being full in, you know? Like there's a lot that we miss out on. And yes, we could possibly get hurt. But I think personally, it's worth the ride. You can always go back on the dock. You know, it's not like once you leave the dock and get on the boat, that doesn't mean that you can't, just like decide this isn't for me. And then we have fantasizing about other people while in relationships. So I want to make a disclaimer on this one, okay? Because I have a belief that like it's natural for us to think other people are attractive. I think it's natural and also like if you're poly or, you relate differently, like this is a different story, right? But even in those dynamics, there can be an avoidance. There can be a whole fantasy about somebody else, because then we're distracted over here rather than really, truly, deeply here with the person in front of us, right? So I just want to say that, like, I'm not a believer in, like, suppress those moments of thinking somebody's attractive, but it's what we do with that, right? How we wield it. Like I said with Rach, how we wield all of it. So the fear in avoidance is loss of freedom, engulfment, vulnerability, disappointment, dependence, and reliance. So it's really like this, like, I can take care of life on my own, and I will not have like anything tying me down. I've got this. I want to tell you some ways that I have been avoidant. And it always depends on the relationship. I can run pretty anxious, but I definitely have my avoidant moments when, and we've kind of talked about this, where it's like going after the avoidant people, then I can look like I'm the one who's like grounded and ready. And then once they are actually like, I'm all in, I'm here, I'm like, oh, actually, I'm the avoidant one. That actually has happened with my partner, where he was very avoidant, and there was a lot of turbulence in that and trying to navigate that, my anxious attachment. And then he decided, I'm actually all in. I'm all in, and I'm here with you, and I choose you. And it's like the words I always wanted to hear. And I was like, honestly, there's been a huge difference in our relationship since that has happened, because I feel so much safer. You can feel when somebody's 1 foot in, 1 foot out. And so there's like a bliss and a ease to that, right? And when he first said that, first of all, I was like, okay, like, we'll see. I don't know if I trust this fully. Like, we will see. And then there was a part of me that was like, ooh, wait a second. Like, oh, this is like real, like something was happening in me that was getting avoidant. But because of the work that I've done, I can see it and I can be like, okay, that's cool. Talk to my partner about it, him call me out on it too. And I'm, it's just like, now I can move through it in a really healthy way and not shame it, and just be real that it has come up now that he's all in. And since then we've moved through it, and now it just feels so solid. And I still have those moments where I'm like, is this real? And is this solid? And I'm like, teaching my nervous system that, and I have done this before, like where it's like, it's not healthy and stable, is not boring. It's safe. It's okay, So I've definitely worked with my fair share of those types of moments. I also worked with hyper independence. I'm a really independent baddie, and I take pride in that. And I also know that there's a line to it, and it's not always something to boast about all the time, because honestly, in that independence, there's a loss of connection sometimes. And it is an avoidant tactic sometimes. Like, I don't need your help. I got this on my own. Like, there's I have been having trouble with my knees, and I've been hiking a lot, and my partner always used to like hold out a hand, and I'd be like, no, I got it. And now I'm like, well, actually, no, I will take your hand, because I want to protect my knees. And I'm so thankful that I get this help, and I get this beautiful man to help me up this mountain, figuratively and literally. So like, it's just like switching that narrative of like, I can be independent and I can also like interdependence, right? Like, if you don't know what that is, it's like I depend on myself, but I also depend on like the weave between the people and the symbiosis of the people in my life. Yeah. Speaking of that, the shadow of avoidance is we may get that protection from like hurt vulnerability, rejection. But we also block connection, intimacy, support, which is what I just talked about. Being fully known. Ask yourself, do you desire to be fully known? Because I think deep down we want that, but there's fear, right? There's fear that if fully known, someone will leave. If you're fully known, you're going to put in all that work to be fully known, and then it's not going to work out. If you're fully known, then someone's not going to like you. There's fear in being fully seen and fully known, or there can be, yeah? Like, it's a scary thing. It can be. If we're not here to be known, what the hell are we here to do, you know? Like, you have so many essences about you. You have so many things that are beautiful that people don't get to see. And, you know, choose your crowd wisely, my loves. But you're meant to be fully known. And being avoidant can really take away from that and really block that opportunity. So walls are walls, my babes. They can protect us, and they do a good job at doing so, but they are also barricades that can really seclude us. It's good to find what your walls are doing for you. I'm going to just go through some minor help with avoidance. In session, I go through this more with more embodied practices, but here's some tools that can help you right now. Share one truth. Ask for one need. Stay present during discomfort. You can do it. I believe in you. Let someone support you. Let someone support you. And notice when you're pulling away. Yeah? This is how we can practice and really like show up for this avoidant part of us that maybe we are no longer feeling is serving us. Healing isn't about becoming less independent. It's about becoming safe enough to let people in. I'm going to leave you with this. Courage isn't about being so strong and holding it all on your own. Courage is about asking for help and letting yourself be seen. In a world of screens and chaos and so much masking, in a world where the dominant is power over and there's so much masculine energy of do, go, 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 the real courageous thing to do is to soften and to let that love in and to let yourself be seen for who you really, truly are. You deserve that. Okay, I'll see you in the next episode, babes. I love you so much, and thank you for listening. Mwah.
Thank you for listening to G-Spot, where your truth turns you on. This isn't just something you listen to. It's something you live. So take what landed here and bring it into your next conversation, your next boundary, your next moment of truth. If you're walking this path and want to go deeper, find me on Instagram at Graciela Serena Music. You can find more information on how to work with me below in the show notes. And if this resonated, let it travel. Share, comment. I would love to hear from you. But most of all, remember, your truth isn't too much. Your voice isn't the problem. Stay there, in that place where it's real. I'll see you next time.